In today's news, a tourist fined $20,000 for entering the territory illegally. And so today we are live with the Vice Chairman of the Marine Association of the BVI, Mr. Andrew Ball, as well as singer Bobby Brown loses another child.
BVICCHA meets with business stakeholders and steering committee. We are joined live with Ms. Kiaya George of the BVICCHA. We're going to have all the details of that and so much more. You're watching 284 News.
The wind! Oh!
What are the hell?
I'm freaking out!
Is time.
284 News.
Coming to you live and direct from the beautiful British Virgin Islands.
What's poppin', what's really good, what's happening, what's up?
Davis has won it for the Lakers!
Welcome everybody. It's Friday, November 20th, 2020. I want to wish each and every one of you a fantastic Friday. I'm Ron Grant.
And my name is Javon Wilson. Lots to get into today. We have two live interviews with two special guests, of course, one of them to speak to the situation with the tourist being fined just about $20,000 for entering the territory illegally. As well, Ron, just today, I think over the last 24 hours, rumors circulating of another COVID positive case in the British Virgin Islands. Today, in speaking with the Minister of Health, Honorable Carvin Malone, we were able to dispel those rumors. That is not true, viewers, so we can get back to our regular lives.
Wonderful. Continuing on as well, across the region, OECS taking consumer protection tips from Jamaica. And in addition to that, orders flowing as the COVID-19 vaccine passes a final stage of testing, as well as our labor and immigration merge systems to come online by December 1st. We're also talking about the government, Honorable Minister, Deputy Premier, and Premier themselves have said we cannot employ any more persons. The government cannot employ any more persons. I know that's a big story because as we look through the trajectory of our territory, many persons are seemingly looking for the government of the Virgin Islands to save them in many instances. But here we have our government officials saying perhaps not. So we're going to get into all those details. We want to also wish a happy birthday to our very own Deputy Governor, David Archer Jr. He has been classified as one of the coolest Deputy Governors, as you can see in the photo. Absolutely fly and very sharp, a true distinguished gentleman, I might add. We hope that he had an enjoyable day yesterday. Happy birthday to you, sir.
All right, viewers, straight into the newscast we go. Now, we are in the midst of the Virgin Islands' first ever Culture and Tourism Month. And to our surprise today, the dynamic team at the Ministry of Education and Culture paid our office a warm BVI visit, not only to highlight the rich culture and heritage of the British Virgin Islands, but also a beautiful segue into the highly anticipated Christmas season. And of course, we couldn't keep all the goodness to ourselves, so here's a small dose of what happened today.
Everyone is hoping the big corona will stop spreading. Oh, 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 oh. Holidays going in China for the epidemic. Now it doesn't matter, it's a global pandemic. Oh, 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 oh. Holidays going
That was the excellent team at the Ministry of Education and Culture. Now, speaking on the collaboration between culture and tourism, Honorable Wheatley had initially said, and I quote, "It is the vision of this administration that culture and tourism enjoy a stronger relationship. Sun, sea, and sand have served us well, but our residents and visitors, along with our industry partners, have expressed the need for more cultural activities. And in this month, and this month can be the launching point for a truly enriching relationship that benefits locals as well as guests. Our culture is beautiful and our story is truly captivating and worthy of exhibition for the world to see. End of quote. Now, there's quite a number of activities that were held throughout this month, but if you're looking to be a part of the upcoming activities, here's what you can do. Story of a Colony, the Virgin Islands documentary screening and the discussion at the Tortola Pier Park. This is, of course, commemorating the 70 years of legislative government, that is going to be on November 20th at 6:30 p.m. again at the Tortola Pier Park. There's also the Calypso workshop coming up on Wednesday, November 25th. That is 10 to 4 p.m. at HLSCC. And we also have the Virgin Islands Association for the Promotion of the Arts and Culture, which is VPAC, the annual Dolores Christopher Arts of the Festival. That's going to be on November 27th as well as the 28th. Now, Ron, I think what a really refreshing retreat,
of course,
from the team there at the Ministry of Culture. They're already known to be the best dressed ministry of all times, but I think it was really refreshing to see them coming in their cultural wear, and of course, really reviving the spirit of Christmas. I think now more than ever, especially with all we've gone through post COVID-19, entering and disrupting our world. I really do feel like it was really nice to just feel some sense of Christmas in the BVI.
Well, unfortunately, I missed it because we were out shooting. However, a lot of persons may not be aware, but Carolyn is by far a tradition of the Virgin Islands, and it's some persons try to continue it, but I'm happy to see the Ministry of Education making an asserted effort to keep that going during the daytime. I know they also went to the National Bank of the Virgin Islands and different companies, really just, as you said, pushing through and making sure that spirit of Christmas is alive. Viewers, still ahead, we are meeting with two of our business professionals who have a lot to talk about in different aspects, the BVICCH, Miss Kiaya George, as well as Mr. Andrew Ball from the Marine aspect, as we're speaking on some very important issues. All this and more when 284 News returns.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Viewers, welcome back. You're watching 284 News. We are now joined by Kiaya George of the BVICCHA. Now, Ms. George, welcome back. Thank you for your time. We are aware that recently BVICCHA held a virtual business stakeholders meeting. Additionally, BVICCHA members sat down with the steering committee as the territory will be reopening the borders in a phased approach come December 1st. Now, Ms. George, understand, before we get into the question and answer segment, can you tell us a little bit about what the response was from the virtual business stakeholders meeting?
Well, for the most part, they still had some alarming questions, some questions that they needed answers. There were questions like, where can the vessels go once they reach here? Again, most of it had to do with the water-based side of, or the sea portion of what the territory has to offer. They wanted to know, how can deliveries be made to the vessels? There was one alarming question that had to do with insurance. How can how can companies that are having to pay their premiums, because they're not going to get a moratorium on the premiums, how can they continue covering their premiums? And the questions were similar to those. So some of it had to do with what happens when we come. For instance, on day 1 or day 0, when I get my test, where do I go? How do I get my results? And then some of them had to do with on the business side of it, or maintaining the business as it relates to the insurance. But then there was still the concern that the confidence of our visitors is very low.
Yes. We also sat down, your agency also sat down, BVICCHA, with the steering committee. And for a long time, the BVICCHA has spoken about not having a seat at the table. I'm not sure if this equates as a seat at the table, but you did have an opportunity to sit with the steering committee. Tell us about that and what came about.
Yes, Ron. So again, it's not necessarily about having a seat at the table, but it's reminding everyone that we represent every business in the territory, from the daycares to the guys that wash your cars to the large trust companies. We represent every business, and because we represent every business, we thought that their voices need to be heard as well. So while we're not part of the steering committee, but we are thankful that the steering committee did reach out to us to have a meeting, to have a very informal conversation, to basically break the ice, just do some introductions, learn who's on the committee, learn who's, was on a call on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, to see how we can work together, to see how we can benefit one another, and to see how we can get the answers on behalf of our members.
Totally understand, and I thank you so much, because there perhaps may be some misinterpretation as to who the BVICCHA represents, and I'm happy to hear you clarify that it is all businesses, from the car wash to the daycares to the hotels. I'm very thankful for that. Let's get into some of those questions that were asked. When it comes to the requirements for travel insurance, what exactly are we looking at? Do they have to use something or have something they can find on their own? What are travelers experiencing as it pertains to the insurance aspect?
Well, once again, we were grateful that the steering committee reached out to us, and especially because we were able to meet with them immediately after meeting with our stakeholders, those businesses that are represented on the call. And one of those questions was what were the travel requirements, travel insurance requirements. And what the steering committee has told us is, while they have made some recommendations on what those specifications or those requirements would be, it's still up for cabinet to decide. And they were willing to send us what they have suggested. We haven't received them yet, but they are willing to send the office the suggestions that they have for cabinet. But again, it is still up for cabinet's approval. So we still don't have the requirements yet. They did say that there was opportunities. For instance, there's a lot of COVID type related insurances available now. And for the most part, typically you would come here with that insurance.
Okay. Now, as it pertains to maps for designated areas, what was the response where vessels can go? What was that response?
Once again, the steering committee was not able to give us the maps yet.
Okay.
They have made some recommendations to cabinet, and those maps have not been approved nor released, so we were not given the maps, but they have assured us that once they get the maps, that they would give us the maps and we could give those out to those who are concerned about it.
Are there at all any protocols for the delivery service to vessels on the moorings?
They're still working on those as well. But what they did share with us, though, which I thought was comforting, is that one thing that was resounding through it as it relates to the deliveries, as it relates to who can service the vessels out on the water, is the fact that as long as the entity that is doing the service or the delivery is Gold Seal certified, they are authorized to do it. But the protocols behind that have not been established.
Has there been yet a confirmed cost to test upon leaving the territory?
Yes, they share with us that cost would be $70.
Okay. And as it pertains to COPRA certification versus local certifications, particularly when we think about Gold Seal, much of the above was discussed. However, with that in mind, is there any clarification between the different certifications?
Yes. Now, this was something that was really, really alarming because, again, we are a member of the Regional Hotel and Tourism Association, Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association, CHTA, and we received information from CHTA that in order to be CARFA certified in the region, our businesses had to go to a CARFA training session. And these were held, I think the first one was this week, the second one is going to be December 2nd, and the third one is going to be December 9th. So naturally, we sent this email out to our members and even those who aren't our members so that they can be aware, be informed in the event that someone that's looking for a CARFA certified vessel or certified business or certified hotel or certified whatever, that they would be able to be certified. But Thankfully, I think it was GIS had the talk with the Tourist Board, HLSCC, and Environmental Health, and that's when I first heard that the officer training for the Gold Seal certification, a portion of that was through CARFA.
Okay.
So this piqued my interest, and so one of the questions that I posed to the steering committee was, what's the difference between the CARFA training and the CARFA certification and the CARFA officer training that was being offered through the Gold Seal certification, and they are one and the same. And so I was glad to send that email out to our members that inquired about it, to let them know that it's part of our Gold Seal training, but they would also at the end of that training get a CARFA certification as well, and they will be CARFA certified for the region.
You spoke earlier about the confidence of visitors who have been coming to the Virgin Islands for a very long time, seemingly gone. As a member of the BVICCHA and a resident of the Virgin Islands as well, what can you say to that, and how do you think as a territory we could, and a business community in particular, try to regain that trust?
Well, it's all about marketing the territory. I guess there has been some negative that have gone out. If we could change that negative to a positive talk. I think the last time I was here, I kept tooting on the fact that we are safe.
Yes.
Right now we have 0 cases. I heard you mention earlier that the one that was rumored has been
Confirmed to be false.
Yes, it has been proven to be false. So we're still a very safe location. And while they work out the kinks as it relates to the protocols, I think on the backside of that, it may be beneficial to remind everyone that when you decide to come here, you come into a safe location. And I think if that voice would go out in a resounding way, it may bring back the confidence. But right now, because of the back and forth, the flip-flop, the on, the off, I am so thankful that the steering committee is doing these videos every day. We take every last one of them and we put them on our website. And when we get questions, we answer the questions, and we've compiled them on our website. And I give them the link to that so that they can go and watch the videos as well.
I don't think you could have said it any better. We are absolutely, by all means, presently still a safe location. I want to touch on something that I think is very interesting that we touched on earlier, but as it pertains to insurance, how can businesses keep up with their insurance premium? This is extremely important since insurance companies do not give moratoriums or insurance premiums. From your end, BVICCHA, what advice would you give in this regard?
Well, one of the things that we're hoping to have a conversation about, and one of the suggestions that came out of the business stakeholders meeting, is that the government gives a no interest loan. Because unlike your other bills, the insurance premiums have to be paid. And if you're not receiving an income, or you're still maintaining your staff's pay, but you're not receiving any revenue, then where are you getting this money from? We're hearing of some business loans being foreclosed. Again, part of the fact that you have a loan is you have to have insurance. If you don't have insurance, you have forfeited your loan in essence.
Correct.
So one of the things that was recommended is that the government provides a no interest loan to help the businesses cover their insurance premiums, because it is something that's required for them to maintain their operations, for them to maintain their businesses, for them to maintain any loans or any facilities that they have with the banks. So that's something that's very important to our business stakeholders right now.
Ms. Kiaya George, we thank you so much for your time and clarity in regards to these questions, and bringing clarity, of course, and serving as a representative for the entire business community here in the territory. Thank you and your team at the BVICCHA so very much.
All right,
Viewers,
thank you. We're glad to be here.
You're most welcome. Viewers, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to come back with so much more. You're watching 2 at 4 News out of the beautiful British Virgin Islands.
Father Jesus, that line along like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of the day. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes, Sonny.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Hold on there. You must have cut front of people.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you? Yes. You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
Viewers, welcome back to 284 News. Now, our newsroom has received word that tourists sailing into the BVI would have done so illegally yesterday, and some of them were slapped with a hefty fine. I think one of them $20,000 deep. So to speak with us on the matter today is Mr. Andrew Ball. He is the vice chairman of the Marine Association of the BVI. Welcome, Mr. Ball.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So like I mentioned initially, we received some information that Her Majesty's Customs was unable to confirm up to press time. But from your seat, Mr. Ball, what do you know about this situation?
We've been made aware of 2 incidents of vessels being detained for entering BVI waters. Obviously, I wasn't there, so I don't know what happens. I only know what I've been told. But the alarming point for us really is that this has gone out on social media. This has become somewhat of a big deal in the marine community through the Caribbean and actually even up the East Coast. And there's a lot of people asserting that BVI Customs has done something legally wrong. While the way that this was handled maybe could have been a little bit more diplomatic, and I'll touch on that in a minute. The assertion of this being legally incorrect is based on the right of innocent passage, which comes from the UN Convention on the Laws of the Sea. Right. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people understand the right of innocent passage, but they don't necessarily understand all of the different subclauses that affect it.
I agree with you, because what we're seeing is that on social media, like you said, persons are essentially using this to justify why the tourists could have entered the territory, and they're saying it could have been innocently.
And for your viewers, what the right of innocent passage means is essentially, as long as you don't touch land, you can sail through another territory's waters. It was designed to assist in trade in areas where you might have to travel through the waters of 3 different countries in order to complete your trade. And if you had to pay tax at each step along the way, that would inhibit trade. But the right of innocent passage is suspended when it comes to matters of national security, which obviously our border closure is. And so I think it's a little bit unfair, the assertions that some of these people are making, because people are sort of going out there saying, well, we didn't know we were doing anything wrong. The BVI's borders have been closed for some time. That's been quite clear, and I have been told that charter companies in the USVI are briefing their clients to hug the coast, make sure you don't enter BVI waters. There will always be some people that stray across, and I don't believe that these people meant any harm. But I think we should be careful about criticizing customs for going out and doing their job. They have a very difficult job right now.
Absolutely.
And securing the borders is part of what is keeping us COVID-free. Do I think the fines are a little heavy-handed? Yes. Do I think they could have just told people, go away, don't come back? Yes, but maybe they've been doing that for months, and they're just, eventually you have to make an example somewhere. So
right. A lot of persons have said it's a harsh penalty, Mr. Ball, $20,000, and that is just for, I think, one vessel. I think another vessel was detained as well. And viewers, up to press time, we have reached out to Her Majesty's Customs, of course, Commissioner Mr. Wade Smith, as well as Mr. Leslie Letsam. Both were unavailable, so not able to confirm the concrete facts on this. But based on new reports, we do see that persons were fined. Do you think it was a harsh penalty? And do you agree, if at all, with any of the persons on social media that this could be damaging possibly for brand BVI, which is also known as the sailing capital of the region?
It is damaging. I mean, we've seen the negative rhetoric out there about it. Do I think the fines are high? Yes, probably, but it depends what you measure them relative to. I mean, if you think about forfeiture of the vessel, for instance, all of a sudden that fine's not very much. If you think about why we have the borders closed and what the inherent risk of people crossing that border is, all of a sudden $20,000 doesn't seem like a lot of money. To the people that own this boat, yes, probably is a lot of money. It's very difficult to measure. But again, I think we could probably warn people to stay away maybe a little bit more diplomatically, which might help to preserve what's left of our tourism product.
So you say diplomatically. What would be your suggestions in that regard? Because like you said, I'm sure the USVI would have been briefed, and companies in the USVI would have been briefed as it relates to our sailing protocols or lack thereof as it relates to COVID-19 and protecting our borders. Clearly, we have seen heightened security as well at our borders. What else can we do to let people know that, this is not allowed?
For starters, we have multiple radar platforms across the territory, which presumably are what identifies these vessels crossing the border. These vessels all have radios as well. They can be contacted on the radio as they cross the border, and you can say, turn it on around, go home. The other thing that we can do, which most countries actually do if there's an exclusion zone. I remember years ago sailing around Montserrat when they had the exclusion zone because of the volcano. And periodically on the radio, there's somebody out there calling, saying, this is an exclusion zone, don't come over here, it's not safe, you're not supposed to be here. Again, it comes back to that issue of whether we believe that people are unaware of the exclusion zone or not. We could certainly signpost it a little bit better without having to physically interdict vessels.
All right, in closing, what do you want to say to our viewers as it relates to sailing and, of course, the upcoming opening tourism season?
Well, December 1st is right around the corner. Unfortunately, we don't have all of the answers on how that's going to work just yet, but we trust that government is working diligently to provide them to us as soon as possible. And we look forward to welcoming those who are still coming.
All right, Mr. Ball, thank you so much. Viewers, that was Mr. Andrew Ball. He is the Vice Chairman of the Marine Association of the BVI, speaking on the matter of tourists being fined just yesterday as it relates to entering the territory illegally. We're going to go to a very quick commercial break, but when we come back, we'll be wrapping up. You're watching 284 News.
Is business slow, cash flow down, hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Viewers, welcome back to 284 News. Now, some tragic news on the international scene. Bobby Brown Jr., the son of singer Bobby Brown, was found dead at his Los Angeles home. That is on Wednesday. He was just 28 years old. Now, Los Angeles police spokesman, Officer Jeff Lee, said officers were responding to a medical emergency when they found Brown's body just around 1:50 p.m. in his home. On Wednesday, he was pronounced dead at the scene. Now, Ron, this is, of course, not the first time tragedy has hit Mr. Bobby Brown's family. We do know of his ex-wife, Whitney Houston, and their daughter, Bobby Christina Brown. So it's really unfortunate to see yet another tragedy in the family.
Prayers up for Bobby Brown. He's shown a lot of strength throughout all these tragedies, and we continue to wish him the very best. Today also happens to be the birthday of our president-elect, Joe Biden. He is going to be the oldest president, and once we get the transition figured out, he's going to be 70, or he is 78 today. So we want to just highlight that. We, of course, had a story for you, but we're just about out of time, guys.
All right, viewers, we want to thank you for rocking with us throughout the week. You're reminded to join us on 284media.com as well for additional information. My name is Javon Wilson, and this has been my pleasure.
And I'm Ron Grant. It's always a pleasure. It's a happy Friday, guys. Have a beautiful weekend. We'll see you soon as we deliver your daily dose of local, regional, and international content. Bye-bye.